Okay, you guys know how much I love candles. It's like I'm the candle promoter lady. I'm constantly lighting them. I'm always telling you guys to light them. But you know, I just think they bring such calm and peace into your world. I love the way they smell. I love the way they look. So here's what we're gonna do today. So much fun. I've been doing this forever. We're gonna make candles together. That's right, we're gonna make our own candles. Do not panic if you're not crafty schmafty. This is so cool and something you can absolutely do. And I'm going to smack some craft myths down for you because it's so easy when you're doing crafts and stuff like that to feel like, well, I don't have all the right equipment, or I need to go out and spend $150 to get all kinds of stuff. No, 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 my loves. Listen. I guarantee you probably have almost all of what you need to do this fabulous project. And, you know, so yeah, you're gonna have to go out and buy some wax or, you know, order it online. But this is such a cool project. And again, something that you can very much personalize for anybody, for yourself. You can make them perfumey and fabulous. You are gonna be making candles for years to come. So, let's just start very, very simply. I've got my pan. Now you can use a double boiler if you have one, but I realize not everybody has a double boiler. So I'm gonna show you another really easy way to do this. You've got your pan, grab a cookie cutter, right? And then just pop it into the bottom of your pan. And then I melt the wax actually in a little pour. Now, if you really get into candle making, there's all kinds of fancy equipment and stuff like that that you can buy. And go man, go, if that's what you want to do. But you know, this is an old Pyrex that I have. It's literally lost its numbers. So I use this because, you know, I've got it sitting around. You know, I put this in the pan. I've got my candy thermometer, which works perfectly for this. And I would suggest you use this because if wax gets overheated, it gets a little dangerous, and I don't want any safety hazards to be going on in your world. Safety first. And then, of course, I just pour water. The whole point with a double boiler, okay, is that you don't really want your water to touch the bottom of your container. You just want the water to heat it. And you know, that's the thing about your cookie cutter being in the bottom. So we're gonna get this started, and then we're going to start melting our wax. And so here's the deal with the wax. Again, you can buy big chunks of wax. You can buy, this is basically, you know, as you guys can see, wax that's already chopped up. Isn't that fancy and wonderful? I'm going the really easy route. And, you know, it comes in many, many different forms, and there are lots of different kinds of wax as well. You can buy, you know, beeswax, which I love the smell, but it's definitely a little bit expensive. So you could buy soy wax, which is so eco-friendly. And it's really made from soybeans, which is really cool, versus paraffin that you guys could buy, which is a petroleum-based thing. So soy wax is cool because it burns really clean and it burns really slowly. You know, all that fabulous stuff, good for your family, blah, blah, blah. It's good stuff. So, you know, I've got this melting, and it's gonna take a little while, so grab your cup of tea and, you know, go throw a load of laundry in or whatever it is you do. And then this stuff will melt, and I'm looking for this to get to about 200 degrees. That's it. It doesn't need to get hotter than that, because if it gets too much hotter, then it gets all flammable and dangerous, and we just don't need any of that. So I'm gonna let it melt, take a sip of my tea, and then we'll kind of keep going here. So my wax is at a really great point. It's about 160 degrees, which is perfect. And now, while it's just sitting there for a minute, because you want to kind of bring it up to that temperature, and then it can come down just a little bit, because I'll pour it at around 120 degrees. You don't need to get too fancy and specific here. These are just a few points. And then I have some other really juicy tips for you, because I always want you guys to succeed. It's so important to me that with any project that I am walking you guys through or trying to inspire you with, that you really truly feel like, okay, this is not gonna be brain surgery here. I can do this stuff, because I know not everybody is into like crafty stuff, but it really is so much fun. It can bring you so much joy. So you can buy these cool little pre-made wick thingamabobs that already have this little thing on the bottom, whatever, I'm sure there's a name for that thing. And these are pre-coated, which is so fancy and perfect, so you don't have to get, you know, too earthy crunchy here and be dipping your own wicks. And here's one of my tricks. I just put a little spot of glue on the bottom, right? And then I run around my house, as you guys have seen me do 12,000 other times, and I find little containers. And then I just put the wick right in the bottom of the container, and I try to center it, of course. You don't have to center it. You could do it whatever way you want to, or you could put a couple of wicks in. You know, you've seen like those 3-wick candles, those are cool too. But I center it, and then what I do, another little fancy trick, is I take a clothespin, and then I put it right on here so that when I'm actually pouring my wax, this little baby stays in place and isn't moving all over the place, because the wax will tend to kind of pull it off to one side, and you want it to sort of stay in the middle. So while my wax is cooling, I'm just gonna fix a few of these up, and look at some of these cute little containers I've gathered up. Like Siggy made this in kindergarten. How cute is that? So this is a really darling little container for me, and sentimental, you know, I like that stuff. A cute little silver container is perfect, and you know, very interesting. You know, try not to choose anything that has too much value to it, that God forbid you're burning your candle and it cracks or something. I would feel horribly if that happened. You know, a cute little cordial is really cute, and I love the idea of a bowl. You know, that's really darling too, to be able to put, you know, just a low, pretty bowl. You can use whatever. I have no doubt you guys are going to be hunting around your houses, finding all kinds of little goodies to make your own little candles out of. And I also like that this is such a fun little mix of things. Okay, so you know, your wax is all melted and you've got all your little pots set up with your little clips, your little clothespins and everything. Now here's another couple of little fun things that you can do with these. You can add stuff to them, which makes it just all the more glorious. And so I ran out to the herb garden and I got some lavender. You know, it's not all in bloom or anything like that, but I just love the smell of it so much. It's so wonderful and pretty. So I've chopped it all up and I'm going to sprinkle that in. Years ago when I started making these, like when I was, I don't know, 19 or 20 years old, I was so into growing herbs, which I still am, and I would go out and I would pick all their pretty little flowers and everything like that, and I'd make all these wonderful little candles in jelly jars and all this stuff, and I'd sprinkle the herbs in them, and they were so beautiful. So think about that too. You guys can add color to these if you want to. Another great kid project. And then a little fragrance is quite wonderful. So, you know, I love the lavender smell, and since I'm also putting lavender in, that's what I'm going to do. Don't add your fragrance until after your wax has cooled a little bit. And here's the deal with this stuff. Again, any craft store, you guys, has this stuff. This is not like fancy equipment or anything like that. I mean, if you go to the craft store, if you go online, you'll be able to find, you know, all this stuff, and then you might end up getting even fancier tools than I have. So as far as the fragrance goes, I'm just going to put a few drops in. I don't need them to get, you know, too wildly fragrant, but I just love that light scent. And you can use, to mix it, you can use even a plastic spoon or whatever you've got around. And this is about the right temperature for me to pour it, and it smells so pretty. You know, it's just lightly scented, and I love that. And then also, right now, I think I'm actually, no, you know what? I think I'm going to wait. You could dump this in, but I think what I want to do is sprinkle it around the top a little bit like that. So, you know, play around with it. Maybe sometime you want to mix it right in, or you might want to sprinkle it around the top. This is one of those projects that is so great for just experimenting with. So I'm just going to get this out of the way so we can see each other. Okay, so now your wax is hot, so remember, don't burn yourself. And then, you know, just pour carefully into your containers.
To the years of melancholy, to dwelling in your misty gray hours with the longing in my belly, down to the catalog of weepy songs that held as my companion far, far too long.
So now here's the deal, you guys. When you're pouring your candles and everything like that, don't worry about a little bit dribbling over the edge or you spill a little bit on the side. Who cares? It's a beautiful homemade candle. That will make it even more wonderful and precious. And, you know, again, this isn't about, you know, pristine perfection or anything like that. This is just a cool, fun project. And, you know, that will make it, you know, a little bit more stress-free too, because this is really a beautiful, relaxing project. Save a little bit of wax, because one of the things that you'll see that happens with soy candles is sometimes you'll start to see little holes around the top as they start to cool. So you can save a little wax and do kind of a second pour if you want. Or if you don't want to deal with that, then don't. You can get a hairdryer out later. and you can melt the top so it's all smooth, or leave the holes. Who cares, right? They're your candles. And now I'm gonna take my little herbs and I'm just gonna sprinkle them around. The other cool thing about this is if as your candles dry, you can kind of watch them, because of course they'll take a little bit of time to dry. But another really wonderful thing you could do is, as they're getting really close to the dry point, you could drop some little pretty seashells in on the top, or that's a time you could put your herbs in. You know, I know you guys have your creative fancy pants on, so, you know, however it is that you want to do it. I love the way that these herbs just kind of float in the top. And again, if I had mixed them in, maybe I'm just going to leave a few of them without the herbs and just put them in here and there, but it's just so beautiful. And just like when I'm doing my cooking shows with you guys, I wish you could smell how glorious this lavender is. You could use rosemary, you know, any wonderful little goodies that you guys have. Oop, I see this one is tipping over here. So I'm just gonna stand that up. So the reason I use the clothespin, of course, is to keep the, I wanna keep the wicks in place, because as the wax dries, it kind of tips over to the edge a little bit. So just once in a while, come back, check your candles, make sure everything is looking good, and then a few hours later, you are gonna have the prettiest candles.
Collie, to dwelling in your misty gray hours with the longing in my belly. Damn.
Well, my candles are all set up and they look so pretty. And you know how I was saying to you guys that I love how imperfect these candles get? I think actually next time I make these, I'm even gonna drip a little bit more onto the sides, because it's so cool. You know, sometimes when I'm doing that kind of stuff, my hand gets a little shaky, so just love all the beauty of those imperfections. Look at how cute this one that I did in Siggy's little pot that he made in kindergarten, the drips over the side. Wouldn't it be cute to have even more drips? So I just had to share, I've created this beautiful tablescape recently. And this is where I'm gonna plunk my candles. I might set a few aside for gifts and that kind of thing, but I made this very nature-inspired tablescape. I brought out my conservatory that's all yummy and dusty, and I purposely have not dusted it. You girls know me. And I put some of John's antique books in it, and I've got a little driftwood and some antlers, so it's just so pretty. And I thought a few of these little handmade candles would just add that extra little touch. So one thing I want you guys to know is it's always good to, when you're making candles and things like that, to cut the wick down to about 1/4 of an inch. So I always just, you know, snip a little bit of it off, and then you'll be ready to use them. But I think they all turned out so cute. And remember, you know, you could absolutely put color in these if you want to. When you buy your little candle making stuff, you'll see there's just a whole plethora of wonderful little things that you guys will find. So, but these are just so adorable, and I will light some with you, and we can see how charming. I'm gonna set this one aside because it has a little top on it for, you know, a really cool little present. And this charming little teacup is so cute, and I love this little Zen master here, and put one back there. And look at how darling that one turned out. I love that one. I've had this little container forever. You know, it's just so cute, and those little cherubs. So let's light some of these beauties, and I will show you just how very magnificent they are. And you know, this is a project that I know you guys are going to enjoy, and hopefully I have you know, cracked a few of those craft myths on the head for you guys, and not made candle making too difficult of a project for anyone, because it really is so much fun, and you can get so crafty and creative with it.